Okay, this is Keystone, the optimistic quadriplegic, and I am here with one of my heroes, one of the early heroes in our story, Tracy Ustema, who was my PT, like my part-time PT, when I was at Mary Free Bed. So, Tracy, I just want you to tell the story from your point of view, because I'll have plenty of time to tell the story from my point of view. So when I first got here, I was like 8 days out from my injury. And I had a C4, C5 spinal injury. And do you remember seeing me early and what we did and what you thought I was going to be able to do down the road or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember those early days. We were definitely, I don't think you had any movement in your legs as far as I can remember. And so, we get a new patient in, we look at the information that's coming across, and I think you had a complete injury, like an Asia A complete. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Incomplete.
Asia B?
Yep.
Okay. So either way, not any movement really below like your shoulder region. No movement in the legs, no movement in the arms. So from the beginning, my job share partner Laura couldn't be here today, but kind of designed a treatment plan that was looking at just getting you home with equipment. And training Sarah on how to help you to do like bed mobility, so rolling, getting the sling in position for lift transfers. We did some training in the power wheelchair. I think that was difficult, if I remember correctly, even just to try to drive with your arm from the beginning.
Yeah, I did left hand.
And it gets
stuck. And then now I do right hand now.
Okay.
But I remember all the balancing. We did the mat. On the mat, I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated doing that. But it was like about all we could do. And now I'm learning how important the core is. And if you can't control your core, you can't do anything.
Well, it's huge. Yeah, absolutely.
So I understand it now, but I hated it.
So yeah, we were definitely doing some strengthening, but I think from that, like with what you had when you came in, we do what we can along the way, but in the end, we kind of envision you being pretty dependent on a caregiver. And so that's what I remember the most about when you first came in, about how you physically presented.
Right. And Sarah and I were thinking about that. We're talking about that. Like I think, you guys had those meetings like every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And then originally I think I was 10 weeks I was going to be there. And Sarah and I thought, if they would have sent us home in 10 weeks, what would we have done? We had no idea. It'd have been in a sling to a wheelchair and nothing. But magically, I came here August 25th, October 13th. I'll never forget that day, overnight. You hear patients, they move their big toe, and that was a big deal. But I moved everything. Like I was able to move my toes, my feet. I could squeeze my knees together, pinch my butt cheeks together. So that was a Tuesday. And then I remember everything changed.
Yeah, it totally caught us off guard, too. I think in hindsight, you probably were starting to get some movement, but you had so much tone and spasms that it was just masked. I mean, every time we tried to move your legs, it would spasm, and so trying to sort out how much of that was an involuntary leg spasm and the fact that you actually had some volitional control there, once we figured that out, it changed everything, for sure.
So we went local, Matt, was the first thing I remember.
Yeah.
And so explain it. I imagine that's probably the first thing you put everybody on, right?
Yeah, certainly if we can. Like you had a neck collar, so you didn't have any sort of orthosis on your trunk, so we were able to put a harness on you. The Locomat, you get in a harness. We strap the legs into robotic legs, so it's an exoskeleton over a treadmill. And then, get it adjusted, get it fit. Meanwhile, we're trying to make sure you're keeping your blood pressure up and not passing out on us. We were able to get you walking on that Locomat. And so, the legs are being moved passively, but we work on you actively participating by adjusting parameters.
Yep, and you put down little foam rubber things that I had to step over. But I just remember just the fact that I was standing up, it made me feel, like a person again.
Yeah.
Like I was going to do something. So we worked on that for a while.
With your head, remember? You had to put the strap on your head.
Strap for the head, just because even your neck muscles were so fatigued from...
Well, I still have that problem. I still have to look at my feet when I walk.
Yeah.
I get yelled at all the time. So then we graduated to like a harness in the hallway that still took some of the weight off me.
Yep.
And what was that called?
That's called the 0G.
Okay.
So that's also a harness, and it gives you body weight support, and it's dynamic. So we can set the weight at a certain amount, and then as you walk, it kind of moves with you through the high and low points of your gait cycle. And I think we had you with the platform walker then, so you kind of were resting your elbows on a platform.
Right.
And then we had like 2 or 3 of us kind of helping to stabilize your trunk and move the legs through and take steps.
Mm-hmm. And then there was a third one, right? There was another harness, like in a different hallway, that maybe didn't take any weight off me.
Correct.
Just kept me up.
Yep.
And so we definitely used the platform walker for that. And then maybe by that time I needed less help
Yes.
to walk.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so that just was a safety harness, just in case you were to buckle or fall, you would be caught. But it didn't lift any weight for you. So at that point, you were able to initiate and take some steps on your own.
And then, so I ended up being here for 6.5 months. So by the end, I remember, there was a hallway, and we would walk as far as we could around the hallway. And near the end, Sarah says, I bet you can make that whole lap around the hallway. And I said, there's no way I'm going to make it around that whole lap. And this was without, and I'm out of the harness and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And by gum, if we didn't make it all around that hallway, like the 2 days before I left, and that was
Right.
cool.
But that just shows your determination. I mean, you guys were a team from the beginning. And whether we were looking at going home with like the lift and slings and no leg movement, or even when our direction changed miraculously, I mean, you guys were just a team, and you had goals, and you were positive, and I think that's exactly what got you as far as it did.
That's the theme of my whole YouTube talk is faith, hope, and optimism. And the optimism was the big part at Mary Free Bed. Like even like you said, even those first 10 weeks when we didn't know we were going to do much, you pushed me to do what I could do, and then God intervened, and get some movement back, and we jumped right on that train. But what I wanted to thank you most for, and what I wanted to thank Mary Free Bed most for, is the optimism that was around here. The staff, it's kind of your job to be optimistic, But what I was struck by, the patient's optimism. Nobody, when we all worked together in that room, and I never heard anybody complaining, or I couldn't do it, I can't do this. It was really kind of a team effort, and it really helped.
Yeah, it's a really uplifting place. I mean, even to work here, it's really encouraging to see someone like you showing up every day and just giving it your all. And, there's plenty of obstacles along the way, but just seeing that determination and drive, I think it's contagious for not just the patients, but everyone who works here as well.
Yeah. So, just to update you really quickly, I'm still in outpatient therapy. Therapists are awesome. You guys were great, but then I've had 2 different places I've gone for outpatient, and they're so much fun. I can be a smart ass to them, and they take it back just like you did. But it's a great profession, and but anyway, so I'm still kind of using the platform walker at home, but they're trying to get me away from that, and I've walked with a regular walker, but my hands, don't really grasp yet. So they'll strap my hands in there, and I have a little bit more strength in my arms, so that helps me, hold me up. And it's funny, I was looking at some old videos walking here, and the problem I always say is, tuck your butt, and keep your head up. And they still yell those same things to me. I still haven't gotten that.
Some things never change, right?
I know. And it's so important. That's what I got to do. I got to get my butt tucked and my chest up, and I'll be able to walk better.
Yeah.
But I'm getting stronger, and it all started here, and I haven't seen you since I left, so I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciated what you did for me.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure.
Okay. Okay, I think we're done. She's gotta go.